Well, you meet him the first time, 78. For how long did you guys have a good relationship together?
It was on and off. The first time I defied him was, I want to say, early 80s. And he had gotten mad. He had petitioned me to go talk to a group of guys. He wanted a guy back in the club that had been pushed out, a gentleman by the name of Rotten Richard. There's another great
Rotten
name,
Richard.
Rotten Richard. And he he wanted him back in the club. And Sonny sent me as an emissary to go talk to this group of people. And it kind of has an ironic ending at the meeting. We have this big meeting, and the guys say he'll never, ever be back in the Hells Angels, ever. And Sonny publicly is starting, people are starting to publicly argue with Sonny, which I think that's something that didn't happen a lot. And Sonny said, well, you know what, man, you guys are making a big mistake because he's a good dude. And these guys said, no, he's rotten. That's why he got the name Rotten Richard, and they didn't want him back in the club. He had been involved in a double homicide at a Hells Angel clubhouse.
Killing members.
These were two gentlemen that came from either Georgia or Texas, I can't remember, and they wanted to become Hells Angels. And we used to have what we called the acid test. You give people LSD, and
they'll talk,
see how they hold their mud. And one of the guys went over the deep end, and they were trying to restrain him. They killed him accidentally. And so what did they do with his partner, you know? And order came down. Well, one guy's got to go, the other guy's got to go. And they wound up killing two Hells Angels. There was a gentleman named Whispering Bill Pfeiffer that had throat cancer, and he got arrested for something unrelated along with his son. And he said, how'd you like to solve a couple of murders? And he directed them to go to George Baby Huey Weatherin's house and his ranch. And he said, check the well. And at the bottom of the well, you're going to find two bodies. And they were the gentlemen that got killed at the clubhouse and then taken and buried in this burial ground, I think is how they described it. Now, you talk about the Mongols earlier. What started the conflict with the Mongols? One of the people, you had Whispering Bill Pfeiffer, but you had an additional informant, Chester Green. He was a Hells Angel as well. He gets kicked out of the club for testifying against other members. That's the golden rule.
Do that, yeah.
The golden rule. Instead of going into the witness protection program like Whispering Bill did, he goes down to Long Beach and becomes a Mongol. And that was part of the problem between the Hells Angels and the Mongols. The cops always say it started over the California bottom rocker. That was just part of the problem. You know, you've got Chester Green, former Hells Angel Bay Area member, who testified against the Hells Angels, now as a Mongol member. You've got a Bud Green, his brother, runs off with the Hells Angels, Chester right there, runs off with a Hells Angels ex-wife.
That's never good.
That's never good.
No.
And so...
he gets killed.
No, he winds up... The first night we had a physical problem with the Mongols. The Hells Angels and Bud Green see each other. Never said a word. The Hells Angel hits Bud Green. A fight breaks out, and it's 60 Hells Angels fighting. 60 Mongols fighting 9 Hells Angels. We got in this fight. The reason they had such an accurate count is one of the Hells Angels with us is also a government informant. So his handlers were at that fight.
God.
And
they reported 60-9.
Yes. And what they had to make a split decision. Do we intercede and blow the cover, or do we let them fight it out? And they chose to let them fight it out.
Anybody get killed or?
No, the police, a rookie cop came into the middle of the fight with a 6-shot revolver. And I remember looking at his gun. I was there. I remember looking at his gun, and I'm thinking, well, he's only got 6 shots. But I don't think
63 of us will make it.
Yeah, but he broke up the fight, and pretty brave police officer. I mean, here you got.
This is what city? This is where?
This is in Orange County.
What part? We're in Orange County.
I don't know. It was at the Great Western exhibit. It's one of these places.
Hotels.
And what was going on was a new event were starting. They were called bike swap meets. And that's what it was. It was a bike swap meet, which I thought was a terrible idea because they have these bands, they have all these motorcycle parts on the floor, and they're selling beer. And everybody's bringing in whiskey and pouring whiskey into their beer. It was just a recipe.
Chaotic.
It was a recipe for disaster. And there was.
So is this where you're seeing? At what point are you like, I don't know if I like the Sonny guy, and I don't know if I can align with him? And you guys have two different ways of doing things. You kind of want to make it an independent, decentralized way of running. He wants to run it like an empire.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. You said something really interesting. I never really made up my mind. Sometimes I loved him, sometimes I hated him. He was like family to me. He was a mentor to me. I didn't agree with him. Him and I got in an argument one time, and he told me, he goes, "You know what, George?" He goes, "I burn every bridge I cross." And I said,
he said that?
Yeah, he told me that. He said, "I burn every bridge I cross." And I said, well, as a military man and an ex-Department of Defense worker, I said, I think I would leave at least one bridge for supplies or for retreat, depending on the situation. And he said, no, I don't care. And I think ultimately, I think Sonny saw the club as something that belonged to him. Other members saw themselves as part of a club. And I think that's a distinction as leaders. Sonny didn't make that distinction. This club was his, as far as he was concerned. Terry the Tramp outshines him in a movie. Give him a hot shot, get rid of that guy.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is, but it's the truth,
When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.